Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, I had a voice radio. So today, we're going to be looking at the pre-release promos from the upcoming Forbidden Light expansion. And like we do every set, and we have done a few sets in a row now, I am going to be ranking these pre-release promos from 1 to 4 so that you know which one you want to be hoping for when you go to your pre-releases. What I will say is, this is a decent set of pre-release cards. None of them are terrible, but there is far and away a clear number one. Now, I should also say that I have done analysis of all of these cards, so take a look in the description for this video. You will find links to these cards where you can see exactly what I think of all of them and why they are so good. Now, bearing in mind, ladies and gentlemen, we have had some pre-releases which, quite frankly, had some pretty uninspiring promos. The Salazizzle from Crimson Invasion, not particularly exciting, to be perfectly honest with you. The Gumshoes from Ultra Prisms, kind of interesting, but really not terribly exciting. And don't get me started on the Bruxish from Sun and Moon, possibly one of the worst pre-release promos we've ever had. No, ladies and gentlemen, this collection is a lot better. We've got Pheromosa, Xurkitree, Malamar, and Lycanroc. So in at number 4, although 3 and 4 are very, very close together, Pheromosa. Pheromosa, grass Pokemon, free retreat is really nice. The good attack here, for 2 grass, 1 colourless energy, white ray, 90 damage. If you've only got 1 prize card remaining, it does 90 more. This fits quite naturally into a bunch of grass decks. Something playing Vikavolt, for instance, would play with this very, very nicely indeed. It is a basic Pokemon, so things like Max Elixir are definitely on the table. And yeah, I know that the big attack only does lots of damage when you've got exactly 1 prize card remaining. But we've all been in plenty of games where your opponent will make sure that you have to KO a GX for your last prize. We've all been in plenty of games where we just cannot take that last prize because none of our Pokemon are doing quite enough damage. Pheromosa helps us out there. Now, there is an argument that if you've only got 1 prize card remaining, you might as well play a GX, because if your opponent takes any KO, they win, and that Tapu Bulu is better for the same energy count. That's why Pheromosa comes in at number 4. In at number 3, Xurkitree, although maybe I put Xurkitree at number 3 because it is my very favourite of the Ultra Beasts. This one again has a little bit of potential. For 1 lightning energy, it does 20 damage plus confusion. This is not some phenomenal attack, but as always, if you pop on something like a Choice Band that's hitting 100 damage against a Ho-Oh, and then you confuse the Ho-Oh, so Ho-Oh has to get out the active, but your opponent has probably played a Kiawe and gotten 4 energy on, so your opponent, even if they play something like a Guzma, they might not be able to get Ho-Oh back into the active, so this could be quite good as a stalling Pokemon. We've all seen Espeon doing 30 damage plus confusion for a single energy. We've seen that see quite a lot of play. Xurkitree goes in there as well. And then, of course, you've got for 2 lightning, 1 colourless energy, 100 damage. If you've got exactly 3 prize cards remaining, this attack also paralyzes your opponent's Pokemon. Now, again, this isn't phenomenal. Free energy for 100 is not great, although it will get a KO on that pesky Ho-Oh, even if you don't have anything to add extra damage. But what is really nice here is it basically KOs anything, even something like a Buzzwole, which of course is hitting you for weakness, and you're paralyzing. And I've said many a time, if you cannot 1-hit KO, then 2-hit KO with disruption. And that's what you're doing here. You make sure your opponent cannot attack next turn while doing 100 damage, and maybe they play a Guzma, and maybe they play an Ace Roller, and fine, those things can happen. But next turn, you're also getting automatic paralysis, and next turn, you're also getting automatic paralysis. You are getting automatic paralysis until you take another prize, so I quite like this. It's not a phenomenal card, it's an occasional tech, but honestly, I do think it's pretty good. In at number 2, we've got Lycanroc. I like this Lycanroc, ladies and gentlemen. I think this Lycanroc is pretty gosh darned good. Now, Accelerock for 100 damage for 2 fighting and a colourless, meh. It's fine. It's not particularly exciting. Like I said, it's fine. But the first attack here, I am a huge fan of. Because for just a fighting and a colourless energy, 20 damage, plus 20 more for each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Now, like we said in the video where I analysed this fully, this is actually called Dangerous Rogue, just like the GX attack of Lycanroc GX. And it does a similar thing. It punishes your opponent for having benched Pokemon. What's really cool here is that it gives you a 2 energy option to get a 1-hit KO on a Zoroark. And Buzzwole can't do it for 2 energy. And Lycanroc GX can do it for 2 energy, but only with Dangerous Rogue, and then after that they can no longer do it for 2 energy. This gives you a 2 energy option for getting the KO here. And Counter Energy would work with this absolutely beautifully. It's essentially a single energy attachment, and then you get a KO probably on a Zoroark. I mean, you're really not having to do very much at all. If your opponent's got 3 bench Pokemon, you're hitting for 80 and a choice band 110 with weakness 220, and you get a KO. The one thing I really said about this in the video where we looked at it is, at the moment, there is a strong argument that Sudowoodo is better because Sudowoodo's got Watch and Learn for the exact same energy cost. So again, we can be using counter energy here. And you get a KO after your opponent uses a Riotous Beating. But you can also get a KO on something like a Ho-Oh or a Buzzwole or something else, which makes it a slightly more well-rounded Pokemon. And there's pluses and minuses to each. Sudowoodo can get a KO on more things, but what we often see, we saw this with Torreklev in Sydney, if your opponent uses a Tapu Lele to get a KO on a Pokemon, you then can't Watch and Learn to KO a Zoroark, whereas Lycanroc can always go and get a KO on a Zoroark. You can't start with Sudowoodo, but Sudowoodo's a basic and is more useful with stuff like Max Elixir. There really are pluses and minuses to each, but even if we don't see play before rotation because of Sudowoodo, Sudowoodo is going to rotate out in September. And at that stage, this Lycanroc is becoming brilliant. But there is a clear and obvious number 1 here in terms of the best pre-release promos from Forbidden Light, and it's Malamar. And I feel quite comfortable saying this is the best pre-release promo we've had in the Sun and Moon era. Now, Oranguru, great pre-release promo. Similarly, Passimian was pretty cool and could come back into favour. Obviously, I'm personally a fan of the Beware, and let's not forget that Registeel was a cool promo, as was Lucario. We've had some decent pre-release promos. But ladies and gentlemen, Malamar takes the biscuit. Its ability is exactly like Electric, and we all know how that went. It's exactly like Bronzong, and we all know how that went. Think of something like the second Genesect EX, the metal one. Really good when Bronzong was out. As soon as Bronzong got rotated, Genesect went away. This Malamar allows you to attach a Psychic Energy from your discard to one of your benched Pokemon. It's going to be great with a Necrozma we've already got, and I did a video just earlier today about this with Ultra Necrozma, and ladies and gentlemen, I feel extremely confident that this is going to be a phenomenal deck that is instantly going to be one of the top decks in the format. I could be wrong. I'm not saying it's definitely going to be one of the top decks in the format. I'm not making you some kind of unbreakable pinky swear promise. But all the signs point to this is going to be phenomenal. It's doing well in Japan at the moment. It's going to be good when it comes out over here. And I, for one, am absolutely delighted that we are getting Malamar as a pre-release promo. The only downside here is we are now in a situation where the staff promos are coming in packs of 4. But that means that staff going to these events somebody's going to have to decide who gets the Malamar and who gets the Pheromosa. That's going to be annoying. People go into pre-releases, your pre-release card is completely random, but there's a 1 in 4 chance of getting a spectacular pre-release promo. The other 3 are all good. I do believe this is the best set of pre-release promos in the Sun and Moon era. But Malamar is just on its own as by far, no contest, the best of the bunch. And that always makes me a little bit worried, because does that mean that people are going to be going and trying to, you know, convince people to trade when they don't really want to? And how are the people running the tournaments going to decide which staff gets the Malamar, etc.? However, I have faith in this community. I think people are lovely. I am sure we're going to be okay. The one thing I do want to say, and I love ending videos on a positive note, how cool is it that we're getting this as a pre-release promo? This is a wonderful card, and we're getting it as a pre-release promo. That is awesome. Good job, Pokemon. Good job. But as with all of this, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think about these pre-release promos. Tell me if you think one of the others should be number 1. Give me your own list from 1 to 4 in the comment section. Tell me how much you want a Malamar promo. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at Wossy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. Do check out my other channel, Wossy Plays. We are doing a Dragon Ball Super booster box opening. That should have gone up today. We're going to be doing more Dragon Ball Z content, and over the next couple weeks, we're going to have videos on things like PUBG, Sea of Thieves, etc. It's going to be fun. Make sure you go subscribe there. And of course, if you want to support the channel and get some bonus podcasts, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves. Until next time, thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.